originally when we decided to, when we came out of our first boot camp, we decided we'd go and do the set and forgets. And that was where we were going to buy a big block. Oh, we did. We bought big blocks and it had the house in the right position. And then we'd do a renovation on the house, a subdivision on the back. We'd sell off the block, pay down the house so that the house didn't owe us as much, which made it neutral to positive, and then we could redraw our money and go again. So just to use some really round figures here, we've got up the top right-hand corner, we've got the box up there that says purchase costs. So 350 type purchase, plus 30K in costs, renovated for 40, and plus the subdivision costs, and we come to a total of 420, if that adds up right. 30, 70. Yeah, that's right. So then we'd do the subdivision. We'd sell off the back block, which would be roughly 220, and so then the leftover amount would be $200,000 of the price. Our redraw essentially would be 120. So we'd pay down the debt completely on the front house, which would mean it wouldn't owe us anywhere near as much. And so the front house would only owe us $200,000. We'd go and revalue the front house, redraw our money because it's gone up in value, because the value is still in it, and use that moving forward to the next deal. And these are the set and forgets. Just continue to buy these over the next 10 years and move forward.
And that would suit somebody who is, happy to continue to work doing what they're doing at the moment. They want to build up as much as they possibly can in wealth and, properties in good, strong, prime areas that are going to increase in value and things like that. So, in 4 or 5 years, you get back to a position where, you've got a big chunk of equity in these properties. And what you might end up doing is even selling some of them off or selling them partially down to pay down the debt on the rest and make them even more positive cash flow when you're ready to flick the switch and perhaps rely on that income. So great wealth creation strategy.
One question we got here is that do you find the value of the front house drops on a smaller block even with the reno? Essentially what you're going to get close to the same price for the front house that you've bought for the big block once the renovation is complete. So it does drop a little bit simply because of the fact that it's on a smaller block, but you're going to bring the value up by doing a renovation on it. What if you can only strata the block? Well, if you can only strata, that means it's not big enough to do the Torrens title, or it's an easier way to add more value to the property. Well, then it's not really an issue. It's still going to be the same. The valuer is still going to look at it as separate titles. It's definitely better to have Torrens title ahead of strata title, but you generally with strata title you can fit more on the block.
And sometimes you actually have to build the thing first before you can actually do the strata. Not always, but it just means that you've then got to incur the cost of construction before the uplift really happens once the strata's put into place.
And so that's something that you'll have to look at financing wise, because they're at opposite ends. So with a subdivision, you would end up doing the subdivision and getting the separate titles, which means you've got more value immediately. Whereas in strata, you'll have to do the build and then do the legal strata title to be able to get it valued. Okay, so with the research that you're going to need to do, what you go and do is